Good morning and welcome to another session with Mindful Movement of AARP Alabama. I am your host, Margie Kerr, and we are just delighted that you joined us today. Thank you so much for being a part of us with us today, and our certified yoga instructor, Becca Impello, who has a wide range of experience for practicing and teaching yoga for more than 20 years. We want to remind you, though, the AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP Alabama is committed to offering opportunities, just like today, for people to stay engaged from their home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the comfort of your own home. Becca, what do you have for us today? What are we going to be doing today?
Well, good morning, Margie, and happy, it's Mardi Gras, and
Yeah,
is Valentine's Day.
coming up, right.
So we just got a lot going on this week in our calendar of events, so to speak. And what
Yeah.
we would focus on today is the heart center, really our emotional center, but also our physical sort of location of the heart. So the chest, the upper back, that thoracic spine and shoulders. So we're going to do a lot of heart opening or heart mobilizing stuff for the upper back, and a little heart-centered meditation just to help us kind of bring that kind of love and love of the season into ourselves and into our practice this morning.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. But everybody, please remember that we want you to check with your physician before you begin any type of exercise routine. So, heart month, let's get going, Becca.
That's right. So a lot of the things we do in our mindful movement series are beneficial for your being in ways other than just the physical, right? So we do lots of physical movement. We want you to be moving, but we're hoping that these practices will also sort of touch you in other ways. Maybe they'll, open up your awareness to self-compassion, or to, sending compassion out to others. And it can also have an effect just on your overall well-being when you take the time to take care of yourself, to be mindful and give yourself this opportunity to do something good for yourself, right? So the benefits ripple out. So like I said, we're going to focus today, both our movements and a little bit of breath and meditation on this region of the body, the heart center, right? But we're not going to just stick to the front, right? We think of the chest here as where the heart is, but really we've got the back of the heart there, kind of between the shoulder blades, even sort of the side bodies and the shoulders have some effect on this upper back region and chest region of the body. So we'll be trying to do some movements that touch into all of that, all right? But let's start with what's called a heart-centered breath meditation, right? So you're going to sit tall, and I encourage you to take a hand and place it on your heart center, or maybe both hands up there on the chest, whatever feels comfortable for you, just so you can kind of connect to this part of the body. Maybe you'll even feel your own heart beating there a bit underneath the hands. You can close your eyes if you like. And I just want you to start to breathe in and out a little slower and a little deeper. But we're going to imagine that instead of breathing in and out through our nose and or our mouth, we're going to imagine that we could actually send our breath right through the heart center, our emotional heart center, all right? So that we're in effect going to try for these few moments, and I encourage you to carry it through your day. We're going to try to filter everything that we take in through the filter of our heart, and we're going to let everything that we send out also pass through that lens, that filter of our heart center, hoping to sort of infuse everything that we receive and everything that we send out with love, right? Just with pure love, right? So take a few more rounds of breath and imagine that you're breathing in through the heart. You're breathing out through the heart. Taking in through the heart center, letting that loving kindness sort of filter through everything that you receive, and sending everything back out also through that heart center. I find this is a good practice for me when I'm feeling sort of frustrated and mad at the world a bit, when I feel like, oh, everything is against me or nothing is going right, or I'm sort of, irritable at everything that comes at me from other people, especially. I find that if I just take a few moments and I breathe in and out and I imagine everything going through my heart first instead of straight to my mind, it helps to soften things. It helps me to remember that pretty much everybody is doing the best they can. Probably nothing is being directed at me personally. I'm maybe just interpreting that way. Taking my awareness through the heart center first helps me to change perspective. Let's take 3 more breaths through that heart center. Breathing in love and sending out love. 1 more breath. All right, now let's go ahead and let those arms drop down. We're going to warm up this area of the body. We will do stuff seating. We'll also do some stuff standing in a moment. So let's take and roll those shoulders. Nice, slow, big rolls. And as you pull forward, I want you to be aware of that stretch across the upper back. And as you pull the shoulders back, be aware of that stretch or broadness across the chest and the collarbones. You might take some nice deep breaths with this motion, inhaling those shoulders up towards the ears, exhaling them back and down. 2 more of these. Good. Now sit tall, the shoulders down, chest broad, and turn the head right and left a few times. So just loosen up through the neck a bit here. Good. Chin over towards one shoulder now. Bring it down. Roll it across the chest to that other side. And then back across the chest. We're just rolling. Think about that heart sort of tracing think about that chin sort of tracing a smile across your heart center. Right? And lift that head back up. Bring the hands up to the heart. We're going to pull back, squeeze the shoulder blades. So we're pinching in the back, spreading in the front. And then we reverse, push out. So we broaden in the back and sort of squeeze in the front. So again, we're trying to mobilize the heart center of the body, both back and front. And really we're trying to work on the thoracic spine. That's the part of your spine that's sort of in the middle between the neck and the lower back. It's where all the ribs attach, the ribs providing that cage of protection for our heart and our lungs. That means that thoracic spine can tend to be a little less mobile, a little more stiff because of all those rib bones that are attached. Last 3, pull and push, pull and push. 1 more time. Good. Now pull those arms back. See if you can take those hands behind your head, or they could be on top of your head if that's a better position, or they could rest here on the heart if you need to keep them lower. All right. And we're going to lift tall, and we're going to take some side bending motions. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning that our heart center, our heart opening, maybe shouldn't just focus on the chest or the front of the body, but we can also try to mobilize all the way around. So this side body, especially right here, the underarms and just below it, that's the area we're trying to lengthen, trying to mobilize. Now we're going to hold this side bend. If you need some support, you could drop a hand down and hold onto your chair. That's an option. If you're comfortable with this top arm reaching and adding a little stretch, you can try to take it up and over. Now let's bring it back to center. And then over to the other side. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Remember those options. Maybe give yourself some support with the hand dropping and then option to reach that top arm up if you want to get a little more stretch or pull. And then bring it back to center. All right, take a moment here. Shake out those arms. Maybe you feel that blood flowing now from the shoulders. Give the wrist a few circles. Good. Now let's go ahead and stand up so we can do a few things upright on our feet, because we don't want to neglect entirely our legs or our lower back. So we want to do a little something for them as well. So go ahead and use your chair as a nice support, right? So I've got the back of that chair towards me so I can hold on to it when needed, and I can even use it for a bit of a stretch. If you would prefer, you could use something like a wall for those portions or another piece of furniture that might be more convenient for you. All right, so let's stand here, back of the chair. All right, bring those arms out in front. And I want you to pull one arm back like a bow and arrow and turn your chest. Optional to reach and extend that arm all the way back behind you if you want. And then come back around to the front. So let's pull the other side and maybe extend back. And then bring it back to the front. We're trying to emphasize that rotation of the upper back. Back to the front, pull, turn. Now really you could do this seated. If for any reason it's difficult for you to maintain a standing position, you could do a lot of this stuff in seated. Be creative, modifying or changing things up to fit what works for you. Last one each side. And then back to front, drop those arms down. Good. Now I want you to just step back with one leg. So we're taking kind of a lunge stance or a warrior one stance, sometimes it's called, right? And let's just loosen up the legs a little bit with a little bend and straighten of that front knee. You could hold on to your chair or your wall if you need a little more support. Good. Now let's stay in a bent position. And I want you to start to move the arms back behind you. Imagine that you're holding a box between your hands, right? So your palms face in towards one another. Try to roll those shoulders back and lift up with the breastbone. Squeeze back with those arms. Squeeze in like you're holding that box and don't want to drop it. Again, this is helping us to open up the front here. And then I want you to bring those arms forward and give yourself a hug. Now, if you need to touch the chair with one arm, you could. All right, that's always allowed. Give yourself a nice big hug across the chest. Now we're opening up that upper back. And then notice which arm is on top, and we're going to take it back again. Squeeze that box behind you. Lift up through the chest, strong legs. And then bring those arms in front. Give yourself that hug again with the other arm on top. And then release it. We're going to take just a little brief stretch here with the hands on the chair or on the wall. And just stretch back through the spine. If you're still seated, you could do a fold forward in your chair or simply sit tall and pause. All right, now we'll take the other leg in front. Finding that lunge stance and doing a bit of back and forth to loosen up the legs. Good. Hold that front knee bent. Now we'll take those arms back again, but this time we're not holding the box. This time, turn your palms out. All right, and then maybe those arms are a little bit wider. Okay, so that's perfectly fine, but try to turn the palms to be out and squeeze back between those shoulder blades, moving the arms back behind you as much as you're able to. Again, opening up the front here. Take a nice deep breath into the chest. Good, and then we'll do that same hug, taking those arms across the chest. Maybe this time you want to roll or round forward a little bit. Notice which arm is on top. And let's open back up. Palms face out so the arm bones turn out. The biceps are turned out. The inside of the elbow is turned out. Arms sweep back. Feel that front collarbone, chest area get nice and broad. And then take those arms across the chest, putting the other arm on top. Maybe that rounding forward if that's comfortable. And then back up, step in, take another little pause here. You can stay straight up if you want, or you can take it back to that stretch again. All right. Now we're going to take our lunge stance again. Same thing, get the left leg forward. You can start on either side. Your stance could be longer or shorter, depending on what feels right for you. You can keep one hand on the chair, or you can have both arms up. We're going to do that pulling again, this time in the lunge. So I'm pulling to the same side as that front leg, twisting and opening there, and then coming back to the front. I'm going to stay on that side. Pull back, maybe extend the arm back, turn it back to the front, pull, turning, back to the front. Two more. Good, one more. Good. Now let's go ahead and straighten that front knee and just take a little stretch for the legs by leaning forward. You could be holding on, or your hands could be at your waist or your hips. All right, bring it up. Let's take it back again. Stretch back into the hips. This is a great position to become aware of your underarms and that side of the heart there, the side bodies, sides of the rib cage. All right, let's bring the other foot forward. So this is my right foot forward now. Find that length of lunge that feels right for you. Remember that option to hold on to the chair or to not. And we pull, twist towards that front leg, option to reach the arm back. Okay, we're trying to mobilize again this upper back, using this twisting motion to get us more mobility in that thoracic spine. Remember those options here. Maybe you're holding on, maybe you're not extending that arm. Two more. Good, and then step it back up. Again, maybe take that stretch back. Good. All right, release and bring it forward. Now, this next one we're going to want to utilize either the chair could be used, or a wall, or another piece of furniture if it's more convenient for you. Or essentially want something that will help us kind of hold the arm, right? So I've got this hand. I'm going to just take it back and kind of hold on to the chair. I'm trying to turn my palm out or away from my body a little bit. And then perhaps I can walk or take a little step forward so that this is pulling back. I'm going to just show you what this might look like from the other viewpoint, from the side, right? So my arm is back, however much is right for you, right? So this may be too far for some folks. You may be a little closer to the arm. We're just trying to get that shoulder back, give us some opening on that side of the chest, right? And then once you're there, just see about turning your head back and forth. Turn it all the way towards that side, and then turn it all the way away. Good. Another 2 times with that head turning. All right, and then release. release that arm. It might help to turn towards that arm, and then just let it shake out a little bit. Take a moment just to notice how you feel on those two sides of the body. Maybe that arm that you just stretched is, feeling a little longer or a little different than the other arm. Now, I'm going to do my second side using the wall, just as a way of showing you that, but also because that way I'll stay facing the camera. So again, I'm going to get that other arm. I'm going to take the palm and turn it out. Let it rest on the wall in this case, or you could still be using the chair. Roll that shoulder back. Stand up tall. And then add that movement of the head, turning towards the arm, turning away from it. Back and forth. Good. 2 more times. All right, now you might turn into that arm a little bit to release it. Give it a little shake. Notice how things feel in those arms, right and left. All right, now one more before we sit back down, although you could go ahead and sit if this one's easy to do from the chair. Now I'm going to take and stretch the arms the other way. So I'm going to bring that arm across the chest. Now we're stretching the back part of the shoulder and addressing the back of the heart, the upper back. Stretching that arm across, I'm giving it a little push with my other arm to add to that. And then the head, I like to add a tilt that head towards the hand over here, and then back up. So I'm tilting the head away from the shoulder that I'm stretching. And 2 more. Tilt the head, back up. Good, and then release that arm. Again, give it a little shake, a little pause to notice how it feels. And then the other arm, help it come across. Keep the shoulder down, sit up or stand up tall. And if you want, add that tilt of the head. Tilt it away from that shoulder and back up. Good, 2 more. And then release. Again, give it a little shake out, maybe a little roll of those shoulders. Let's go ahead and sit back down. Sitting in the chair, up nice and tall. We're going to work just a little bit more with the rib cage, right? And then we'll return a bit to our breathing, our heart-centered breath meditation. All right, so I want you to sort of become aware of your rib cage. You can even put your hands there or cross them over. And I want you to start to shift your rib cage side to side. If it helps, you can bring those arms sort of out to the side and reach, right? We're just trying to get a shift in the waist, shift in the rib cage. All right, and then let's try to make this a little bit of a circle. Shift it over to the side and then push it forward. Roll through the back. All right, so we're trying to, circle that rib cage. You'll also be circling a bit on the pelvis, which is a move we sometimes do. So, can't separate them entirely. So that's perfectly fine. Just keep your focus on the feeling in your rib cage and your upper trunk there. Now let's reverse direction. A couple more times. All right, and bring it back to center. All right, now You have some choices for this next one. I'm going to scoot back and just kind of get snuggled up against the back of my chair, right? And then I'm going to let my arms drop down with the palms out and just lean slightly back on that chair, right? That may be plenty for you. I'm going to turn sideways just in case it helps you to see, right? So we're just using the support of the chair to do one last little chest opening. It's a little bit of a back bend. If it feels more comfortable to you to support your head, you can put your hands up behind your head. And if it's comfortable in your body to fold a little bit more, you can, but don't force anything, right? So take it to the place that feels right for you. Breathe into that chest, across the collarbones. And then sit back up tall. Take those hands forward, down to those knees, and just do a slight rounding. Tuck the chin in. Let the shoulders roll forward. Breathe into your upper back. And then roll it back to sitting up tall. Give those shoulders a couple more rolls. Good. Take a hand or both hands back up to your heart center. Maybe close the eyes. To start with, I just want you to see, can you feel your heartbeat? Is it going a little faster than it did before? After doing our movements, our stretches, our breathing, and then just also be aware of this whole area of the body that we've been working on. Your senses are probably a little heightened, right? You have just more awareness of your shoulder blades, of your upper back, of your side body, rib cage, underarm area, a little more awareness of your chest. Good. Now let's spend the last couple moments of sending our awareness, our breath, our energy, our thoughts through the heart center. Let's receive as if we could breathe in directly through our tender heart and exhale it right back out through that heart center. So we're giving everything we receive and everything that we give, that heart influence, right? Breathe in, breathe out. Send it through the heart center for another 3 rounds of breath. Now let those hands drop down to your lap. You might keep your eyes closed for a moment. And I want you just to imagine a smile. You could take a smile and actually put it on your face, right? Lifting the corners of your mouth. But I want you to imagine the feeling of a joyful smile across your chest, across your heart. Imagine that your heart itself, your physical heart, could smile, could take that feeling of joy, delight, awe, and put it right there on your heart. Let that be the filter that you receive through, the filter that you give back out through. One more breath with that smile on your face, that smile in your heart. And you can open your eyes if they're closed. Lift your hands together in front of the heart center in a gesture of gratitude, being thankful for your own body, your own heart center, and of course for AARP of Alabama for giving us these opportunities to move mindfully together. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, and happy Valentine's Day. Join us again next week on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. for Mindful Movement.
Thank you, Becca, for helping us to be more mindful about our bodies. And we do look forward to everyone joining us again on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time for Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. Everyone have a great weekend.